Hi, I am back with another pep talk. This is your special edition series all about purpose, empowerment, and prayer. This series is to help you develop a deeper, more intimate friendship with God through prayer. And I've got about 7 different words, lessons, principles, keys to helping you strengthen your prayer life. Now, the first one I want to talk about is really trying to unpack a word that often is used in religious circles, more traditional or formal church settings, and we don't hear it too often in the common vernacular these days, but I'd like for us to reclaim the word consecration. Consecration is simply meaning that we take time to set apart, set aside some object or even location for sacred purposes, special divine use. We consecrate certain things as unto the Lord when we want to set it aside and say, no, this is only for God. We set aside maybe a special chalice, cups that are used in certain denominations and sacred formal presentations. We set aside many things that are only for that purpose alone. I would like to suggest to dynamically transform your prayer life, we've got to reclaim and understand the value of consecration. Let me give you this scripture that has changed my life, and I believe that if you hold on to it, make it your purpose, it'll transform your life too. Psalm 25, verse 14 says, "The secret of the Lord is with those that fear him, and he will show them his covenant." Another translation might say, "The Lord confides in those who fear him, and he shows them their covenant or his covenant." I was arrested and totally just awed, just amazed by that passage. And for years now, I've held on to it as a point to start thinking about prayer differently. You see, the scripture actually suggests that when we properly reverence God, that fear of the Lord is not about a scary, spooky fear. No, it's about exalting and really honoring God for who God is, placing God as the supreme who has no equal. I mean, really think about God as creator of the universe, and we have the privilege to pray, to talk with, to spend time with, to develop friendship with God. Now, when we take God seriously and properly honor, reverence God, the promise of that scripture is that God has some things to download into your spirit. God has some secrets. It's almost like God welcomes us into a special secret chamber meeting where we get to have some really good conversation. Because when we properly reverence God, respect God, honor God, God knows then, well, I can share some things with you. You won't take me for granted. You won't treat me casually as if I'm just the guy next door. No, God deserves our absolute allegiance, attention, and reverence. And when we come to prayer with that perspective, we consecrate ourselves. We set ourselves aside from all the cares of the world. And we even maybe choose a location that we know this is the place I want to have my special time with God. I know some of you have a best friend you like catching up with. You like to just block out everything for that one-on-one time so that you have an enjoyable conversation and that you're not interrupted by all the cares of life. Maybe it's a special date you look forward to. Doesn't it mean something when someone takes the time to prepare the meal, to set aside a special setting, to prepare the location and the atmosphere, to say, I don't want anybody else to have my attention but you? There are some special things that happen when we consecrate ourselves to spend time with God. And that simply means maybe you just go ahead and turn off the phone and put it in another room. It's okay. Things will be all right for at least a good 15 minutes. You can survive. Maybe it's the time to just make your car your sanctuary, that holy place where you block out the noise for a moment and just focus on God. Now, for our prayer lives to really be enriched and for us to get the benefit of God speaking to us and not just us giving our laundry list of things we need to do and ways we need to have some things turned around and changed, maybe it's a time to just say, I want to know God's presence better. to be mindful, to be intentional, to be very purposeful. Take this scripture from Psalm 25, verse 14. Let it be your meditation this week. Go ahead, make a decision and begin today. Consecrate a special time and a place to spend no less than 10 minutes being with your God. And pray out of a place of reverence, understanding who God is, thanking God for all of God's might and power and majesty, every provision, every source and resource, everything we need. And then talk to your friend who also wants to talk with you. I hope that this has encouraged you to think a little differently about your prayer life, to go before God excited about the privilege of prayer. And certainly we can pray anytime, any place, for any reason. I mean, you can walk and chew gum, right? Right? And you can talk to God at any time. But there is a difference when we consecrate our minds and hearts, a special time and location to block out everything else solely to focus on God. Let that be the beginning of your new adventure in prayer. I hope you enjoyed this pep talk, and I hope you will share it with someone you know who wants to grow in their prayer life as well. Subscribe, like, and keep passing the word that we have an awesome opportunity to intensify our relationship with God. I hope you'll be with us next time. This is Intensified Life TV with Dr. Lakeisha B.